Welcome to the Earthschooling Introduction to 6th grade. Today we're going to learn how to log into 6th grade and navigate around the site. First, we're going to go to the login page. You can type in directly earthschoolingmember.com and it will take you directly to the login page. Now you don't have to type that in if you don't want to. You can also just go to any page on our website and you'll see that there's a member login button here, which will also take you to this page here. And there's also a login navigation up at the top, and this login tab will also take you to this page here. So it's very easy to log in because there are numerous places where you can log in from, and you can log in from any page on the website. Once you get to the login page, you simply enter your username and password. And mine is already stored in the computer, so I just have it entered there automatically, and I press send. Once you enter your password, and like I said, you can do this from many locations on the website, you will get a screen that looks like this and says Welcome Member, and it will have your name in the upper right-hand corner. Once you get here, you can navigate to all the materials that you have access to. Now, since we're talking about 6th grade today, I'll show you the two ways that you can access your 6th grade materials. First, you can go to Login Navigation, Earthschooling Members, Curriculum, Curriculum Member. And this will take you to 6th grade, and then you click on 6th grade. The other way to do that is if you're going from your welcome page here and you're on the computer, you can also look at the sidebar here, and the sidebar will take you directly to Curriculum Member. The reason we use the bar up here is because sometimes the sidebar does not show up in mobile devices like phones or tablets. Once you get to the Curriculum Member page, you click on 6th grade, and all of your material is on this page that you have access to. Now, if you have access to multiple grades, or even if you have access to one grade and then you have another grade the next year, keep in mind that every single page on the Earthschooling website is organized in the exact same manner. So 3rd grade, 4th grade, all the way from preschool up until 8th grade and even high school, they're all organized in the same exact order. So every page, and this includes 6th grade, will have at the top a document called Getting Started with Earthschooling 6th grade. And when you open that document, you will see that it gives you a nice overview of what you will find in 6th grade. And this is just to give you an overview as a teacher so that you know what's coming up and what you have access to. I like this because it allows me to print it out, and then I can see in a visual way, just in 1 or 2 pages, what I have access to. The other thing I like about this document is that at the very end, it has a checklist. This is very useful because you may choose different ways to access your different curriculum choices. So for instance, you have a column here, you have all of your 6th grade lessons listed in this column, and then you have your choices here. Are you going to print this document? Are you going to read it only? Are you going to use it on a tablet or computer, or are you going to watch it? Well, if I start with this first one here, it says Guidelines for 6th grade Eurythmy. This is probably something that I will just read. I won't print that out. I just want to read it because it will tell me about how to use the Eurythmy videos. And so I will click on here, Read Only. And you can go through this entire list and you can make decisions right now, or you can make decisions later as to what you will do with each part of your curriculum. So once you get done with your planning and your overview, you can go down the page, and right here, this paragraph here just tells you a summary about 6th grade. This is the same thing that you'll find in the planning document above. And then right under that, every page on the Earthschooling website, including this 6th grade page here, has a gallery of member photos. Now this is something that you can look at now, or you can save it until later, or save it until you need it. What happens is every time an Earthschooling member shares some of their lessons, like a main lesson book or something from their chalkboard, we post it on the website so you can see what other Earthschooling members are doing with the curriculum. All you have to do is click to View Album, and then your album will come up here, and you can see some of the things that other members have done. And it will tell you who did it as well, so that if you want to contact them on the forum, you can contact them and ask them more about what they've done. So there's different categories here, and every category has samples of member work. Right after this, you'll get the How to Use the Page section. And this is also on every curriculum page of the website in the exact same position. So once you learn how to use one curriculum page, you know how to use them all. So this just basically tells you how to use the page, how to view the file online, how to download it to your computer, and then there's a difference if you have a Mac versus a PC. Then, right below that, there are some buttons that we're going to come back to later because they're not part of the main curriculum. But now what we're going to do is scroll down to the main part of your curriculum. You'll start out here with your planner and your supply list. And these are two things that I recommend printing. They're both very small pages. Here's, if you click on it, it easily opens. And this is very easy, the way things open on this website. We use the same program that Netflix uses for their videos. And so basically it's a point and click system where you just click on something and it immediately opens, just like on Netflix. And these files, when they open, they'll open on your mobile device, on your computer, or on your cell phone. They'll open anywhere you are. So even if you're outside the house and you decide you need something from your curriculum, you will be able to access it from anywhere. So we start out with our planner and our supply list, which I would print out. And your planner is very nice. It's a shorter document than the one that I showed you above. This planner basically has all of your lessons listed. And then it also has your planner for the year. So it has your calendar that shows you what you will do for each block. So here we go for block 1. It shows you what we will be doing, and you can go down this calendar and there's a full calendar here that shows you what you're going to be doing for each block. And then we have your block start. So after you print out your planner and your supply list, you'll look at your planner and you'll see what's in your first block. And then once you look at that, so let's go back to our planner here. We'll look here down here, and I recommend printing out things, if you're going to print out or look at them, just one block at a time. So for block 1, we're going to learn how to make stuffed animals, and we're going to talk about Roman history. So let's use that as an example. There's also some other lessons that we're going to use, but let's start with those two. Now, because each grade of curriculum has so many files, what I recommend is just starting out with one block like I showed you, or even 2 blocks if you want to plan ahead, and just focusing on those 1 or 2 blocks for now. If you try to get everything organized for the year, sometimes it can be very confusing, or it can just be very cumbersome because you're looking at a lot and you're printing a lot, and it's better for you as a teacher just to focus. The other reason is the first block or 2 is a learning experience for you and your student. So you'll learn, what pace do they need to go at, or if you're teaching with the classroom, what pace do your students need to go at. You'll learn a little bit more about how your classroom is best organized. You're going to learn so much in those first few weeks that if you try to plan the whole year, it's not going to be effective because you won't be planning according to what you've learned. And this really goes for homeschoolers who are new, and even homeschoolers who have homeschooled before. Because I found that each year I took on a different grade, the reactions of my students were a little bit different. And so I never really planned farther than 2 blocks ahead. But also keep in mind that when I'm talking about planning, I'm talking about a very, very minimal amount of planning that you do as a teacher, because we've done all the planning for you. So that's another reason that you don't need to really plan out the whole entire year, because we've planned out all the blocks for you. As you can see here, this is a sample of part of block 1, but there are 7 more of these, and they all have a full day in them. So we've already planned out the entire year for you, and all the files have every single thing you need to teach as a teacher. It has your teacher instructions and your assignments and visuals where necessary. So the only planning you need to do as a teacher is to look through our materials, just to glance through them to see what we have. And perhaps, like the day before you're going to tell a story, you need to maybe read the story and look at it. Sometimes I go over lessons beforehand so that I'm familiar with it, so that I do it smoothly during class. Another part of planning for you might be that you will put a chalk drawing on the chalkboard. So when I talk about planning, I just mean the minimal amount of planning that you do as a teacher just to get ready for the day. Because we've already planned all the lessons for you completely. There's nothing missing. You don't have to go searching for a book somewhere or something else extra. Everything's included in the curriculum. And we've planned out the entire year for you on these charts here, so you don't even need to do that. So anyway, in this first planner, we saw that we were going to work with Roman history. So what I would do is I would scroll down, and I see that all my blocks are organized in a certain section. There's main lessons in form drawing, main lessons in geography, main lessons in handwork, and I see here, we were going to learn how to make stuffed animals. So what I will do is I will open this up, and I see this document has some supplies listed in it, as well as some patterns. And it's also a very short document, so I will probably print this document because it's something that I will use for the next few weeks in instructing my students how to make these stuffed animals. I will skip these because we're not working on these right now. There's the next block is main lessons in language, and there's some review blocks as well as blocks for the 6th grade. And this is another nice thing about Earthschooling is that we do provide some review blocks in each grade. We have some main lessons in math, and then we get down to our main lessons in Roman history. Now, this is the block that we're going to be starting with, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my teacher guide. And my teacher guide tells me exactly what order I'm going to be doing the lessons in and how I'm going to be doing them. So I think I will print this out as well. It's about 4 pages. Then, according to my teacher guide, I'm going to start with these, and they're all listed in order on the website. And so we have different choices. Now, certain things here, I'll show you. Here is the Aeneid, and this is a version that's a summary. It's a short version, and it just has some it has a shortened version of the book. So if I do want to print something out, I'd probably print this out. However, this here is the entire book, the Aeneid, and we've put some notes in it as well. Now this here is a large book, so it's probably a couple hundred pages. Usually with books, I choose not to print them out. I will read them on a tablet or a mobile device. Or if the student's going to read them, sometimes I will go to the library to check it out, or I will purchase it. All the books that we use on the Earthschooling website are classic books, and the cost to purchase them is usually between $5 and $7. So they're very inexpensive books. You can even purchase them used for about $1 or $2 on Amazon. And you can also easily find them at the library. They're not difficult to find. But we do provide them online because we work with many international students who don't have access to the libraries or the books that we might have in some areas. So it is available, but that doesn't mean that you need to print it. So we scroll down and you can see all your lessons in Roman history. So if you go down to the lessons, every lesson in the 6th grade curriculum is done in order. And what you have is, I'll show you, you have all of your teacher lessons are in black. So we have an index here, and then we have your introduction, and then we have, after your introduction, we have how to teach the lessons, and we have the lessons. Now, Once you get down to the lessons, you will have something that you will read as a teacher. And you will usually tell this to your class, this story, or you will read it to them. And we do have a video that shows you how to do this on the 6th grade page. The basic formula will be that you will read something to your students, and you will then give them an assignment to draw something in their main lesson book, or to paint something, or they can choose to write something about the lesson. So you can give them many choices. It's very easy to go through the curriculum because you're using just one file at a time, and when you open that file or when you print that file, you just go through that file in order as if you're going through a textbook or as if you're reading a book, so it's very easy. And then the basic formula for giving the lessons is, if there is nothing in blue written, then you will give a standard lesson, which is described in the beginning. If there is something in blue, then that will be your lesson. In 6th grade astronomy, just like in the other block I showed you, you will open your file, and like I said, you can open it on any mobile device, a tablet or a computer, or you can print it out. Your lessons will be in order, and you will teach them in order, stopping after each section to give a lesson to your class. So you go through your introduction, and then you will get to this. Now in this particular lesson, we have the lesson that the teacher was teaching all the way up until here, and then we have a blue part. This is what I was talking about before. If this blue part was not here, then you as a teacher would either have your students write about the lesson, have them paint about it, or have them draw something in their main lesson book, which is pretty much a standard lesson. But in some cases, we will guide you beyond the standard. So in this one, we're suggesting that after doing this first lesson, you have your student write an essay. And these are the questions and prompts that you have. So this is a good example of the second kind of lesson you will find in Earthschooling. So once again, it's very easy to go through your lessons. You're only going to print out or open one file at a time. When you open that one file, you will go through everything in order. You won't skip around, and it's not confusing at all. You just go through it in order, and as a teacher, you will read what it says in black print, and you will either read that out loud or print it out, or you will teach it depending on what your ability levels are or your time constraints. And then at the end of that lesson, once again, like I said, so far I've introduced you to two choices. You will have the choice to do a standard lesson, or you will have a choice to do what is in blue that we've listed. And you can always alter that lesson in some way. The point of the lesson is to let the student interact with the lesson and to show that they've listened and to show that they're getting involved in the lesson in some way. We also have a third way that we present lessons in the Earthschooling curriculum. I'll show you an example here. In the 6th grade math block, we have a lesson called the 6 divisions of the circle. In here, we have a visual lesson. And what happens in this lesson is, once again, just like every other lesson, you're only going to be opening this one file and working with this one file. You're not going to be opening multiple files and cross-referencing, and you're not going to be working out of order. You're simply going to start at the beginning and work in order through this file. But unlike the other files that I showed you, you're not going to give a standard lesson of drawing or painting or writing, and we don't have any writing in blue that says write an essay or gives you instructions of what to do. What we have here is we have visuals. And so here we show you exactly how to do this lesson. So this is your visual that as a teacher you will use this, and there's a verbal description as well. You will use this to show you exactly how to teach the lesson to your students. So this represents what I've showed you so far, the 3 different ways that you will find Earthschooling lessons presented. So just to review, when you're going through this page, all of your lesson blocks are in this section here. And all you're going to do is print out 1 or 2 files at a time according to what you're working with in that block. You're not going to open everything. You're not going to print out everything. You don't want to make yourself, confused or overburden yourself with too much information. We have not found that that's effective in teaching the lessons. Just as a side note, though, some people do want to print all their materials at the beginning of the year, and printing everything is different than planning everything. It's okay if you make that choice. A lot of our members now are just using a tablet and they're not printing anything at all. But if you do want to print, it is okay to print everything at the beginning of the year. Just don't overwhelm yourself by then spreading out all the books and trying to use all of them at once. So we do have a help page on the website. It gives you some links to some online printing options, which are very, very affordable. It also gives you some tips for printing things in a very affordable way. And it gives you just a lot of ideas on printing materials. So if you want to, you can print all your materials at the beginning of the year. You can print and bind them. You can put them in a 3-ring binder like I do. You can do anything you want with them. And this is something that you do separately than planning. You just print everything and then you put it on your shelf, and then your planning is separate from that. So when I say that you don't need to print everything at once, you can if you want to, but just keep that separate from your planning. So in allowing you to focus, you open the lessons, and then what you expect when you open the lessons is that you will go through the lessons in the exact order that they're presented, and that you will either offer the student a standard lesson, which is telling them to, give you feedback on what they've heard verbally, like they can retell the story back to you, they can write something about the story, or they can draw something and write something, or just draw something or paint something. Second method or lesson that you might teach is something, we have suggestions in blue that give you exact lessons for the students. The third lesson method you might find in one of these files when you open them is the visual. And so everything's very easy, it's in order, and the lessons are clearly stated. On another side note, I do want to mention that for the first method that I described, where you have a student write in their main lesson book or draw in their main lesson book or create a watercolor, we do provide you with examples of how to do this. We provide you with main lesson books for every single main lesson in your grade. So if there's a Roman history lesson, we provide you with main lesson book samples. If there's a form drawing lesson, we provide you with form drawing lesson samples. So this is an example of a map from the Roman history lesson. This is an example of another part of the Roman history lesson from a main lesson book. And so you can use this main lesson book as well as using the member examples. And this is the only time that you would really have to go through something and check and cross-check. Usually you just go straight through a lesson and you don't need to go to another book at all. But if you do get to a point in your main lesson where it asks you to have the student create something and you need some inspiration, you can reference these main lesson books or you can reference the student examples. Now, like I said before, in many of our lessons we do provide examples, but if we don't, we do have these main lesson books you can use as a resource. And we provide the main lesson books as well as we provide examples of some watercolors. And so in the next slide you'll see a watercolor that was done for the main lesson book or for the main lesson of Romulus and Remus, and it's a watercolor that was done for that lesson. And so once again, as a side note, like I said, there's 3 methods that we present the lessons, and in the first method it will ask you to present the lesson to the student and have them write something or draw something or paint something. And that's the only time that you may need to reference one of these books outside of the main book. And so to make this easier, you may just want to keep those main lesson books in one place on your computer so you can easily open them up at any time. Or, once you're familiar with your main lesson book page, I actually find the easiest way to do it is to open up the curriculum page on the website and just click around and look through some of the member samples or click on the main lesson book that I need. because then I can instantly open the book from the website and scroll through all the pages without needing to print out all those color pages. So now let's go to the very bottom here. We've gotten through our lessons and had a little review of how to use them. We'll go to the very bottom here and see what extra resources we have. Every curriculum page on the website, at the very bottom of the page, has a section for teacher support. And those teacher support files are specific to that grade. So in the 6th grade, we have some different things here. And so if you decide that you need help with any of these things as a teacher, you can just click on them and they will show up. Now, not everyone will need help. Like perhaps, let's say perhaps you already have a sex education program that you're using, so you will never need to open this file unless you're curious to know about what we have. Perhaps you've done so many main lessons that you don't really need to know how to do a main lesson, so you might not need to open this. So let's say you need some help with block crayons. So I'll go down here and I'll choose, am I on a mobile device like a phone or a tablet? Then I'll probably click on this one. If I'm on a computer, I'll click on this option. So all you do, like I said, same system Netflix uses, it's very easy. We just click on the file and it opens automatically. It's very easy and very instant. And then your video will start.
To our level 3 crayon drawing landscape. I'm excited about drawing this landscape for you guys. This is a really fun one. We'll be looking at drawing up.
So you can see how we have a lesson here. And then once you're done watching the video, you just close the lesson and your lesson's done. And like I said, you can watch that on a mobile device, like you can watch it on your phone while you're resting in bed or on the couch. You can watch it when you're waiting in line somewhere. Maybe your children have an activity and you need to wait in line somewhere or wait for them to finish their ballet class. You can watch it then. Or you can watch it on your computer or your television. You can watch it anywhere you want. Then at the very, very bottom, we have all your Eurythmy lessons. And this is another unique thing about Earthschooling. Earthschooling has all these great teacher support lessons that are taught by Waldorf teachers, but we also have something that no other curriculum has. We have Eurythmy lessons, and these are taught by a Eurythmy teacher, and she has all these nice guidelines for how to use the lessons, and then there's a bunch of little videos for each grade that show you what to do. And so these videos will take you through the curriculum for Eurythmy.
In the first blocks that we've been exploring, we've been looking at how we become conscious of the way that we fill space. It seems almost too obvious for words to... As you move, feel your whole body pressing into space, changing it.
And once again, as you can see, the video is very helpful because it tells you exactly what movements to do as a teacher. You can even do that video with your student the first time or two, and it's very easy to open the file from anywhere and to close it when you're done with it and you get back to your regular page here. So that's pretty much a review of all of your files on the 6th grade page. Now that I've looked at all of your main files, I'm going to take you back really quickly to these 3 extra pages we have here. And like I said, we have these 3 extra pages on every curriculum page. First, you have your frequently asked questions. When you click on that, you get to a page that has all your questions for 6th grade. We also have enrichment. And if you click on that, we have extra files. This is just an extra main lesson book that was donated by somebody. And so once we get extra files either donated by members or that we create, we put them on this page. And those are not files that you directly need to use for your curriculum, but they're extra things that you can just look at for inspiration and perhaps extra lessons or something to enrich your main lessons. Then the last thing we have is math worksheets and resource page. And this has a list of all your math worksheets that you can use. And this is because when you're teaching the curriculum, we supply you all of the information you need to teach the math, and we supply you with practice problems, and we supply you with all the visuals. But as you know as a teacher, you're going to need to practice, and different students need different levels of practice. So our goal in having this page here is what we've done is we've curated many worksheets, and we've put them in exact order that you'll be using them. We've put them under headings. So if you're using the lesson block for math and you find that, say, we're doing starting business for kids, and you go through that block and your kids need some extra help with business math, you can go up to the math worksheets. You'll find a link that shows you where some extra problems are, and you can print out those problems, and then you as a teacher don't have to make up problems or make up the answers or do any extra work. All you have to do is just print them out and copy them onto the chalkboard. So thank you for coming to this introduction to your 6th grade page. And also keep in mind that as a curriculum member, you have access to a lot of extra files as well. If you want help touring through your extra files that you have access to, please see our video, A Tour Through Earthschooling Member Benefits. Because of course this page here is the main one you'll be using. It's your 6th grade page with all of your curriculum, all your teacher support, and everything you need on it. But as a member, you also have access to many other things. And we don't want to overwhelm you by throwing everything at you at once, but just to let you know you do have these resources available to you. You have a whole page that has a bunch of teacher guides on them. You have a tech support and e-material guide. You have member newsletters that come to you every Sunday. You have a member's blog. You have more member galleries, because these are specific to 6th grade, but we also have more member galleries that show you classrooms and different holiday celebrations. You have access to my galleries that show my classroom. You have access to legal resources and services, the Earthschooling member chat, some general Earthschooling frequently asked questions, and if you want to meet with a teacher, you can book an appointment. Now, if you want a tour through these pages, like I said, please see the video, A Tour Through Earthschooling Member Benefits. This has been a tour through Earthschooling 6th grade. Thank you very much.